Hey there, it's Gina with GGH Creations, and I am here today to share a fun, simple, easy DIY craft project using a couple of Dollar Tree items as well as a thrifted item and then a reusable stencil. So super simple, super easy project that anyone can do using this kind of a primitive rustic touch to this project, and hopefully something that you could add to your home to kind of create that cozy, warm feeling. So that's what we're going to do today. So I want to share with you a couple of the supplies that we have and share where I got those. So we are going to use for one of our pieces this easy chalkboard sign. This came straight from the Dollar Tree for $1.25. These are a little harder to find, at least in my Dollar Tree here in town, but I've done a couple of quick, easy projects with these, and they work great with a reusable stencil. We also have a reusable stencil that says homemade apple pie, so we're going to use that. We have some chalk paste, and this one is in color almond latte. And then of course we need our fuzzing cloth for using the chalk paste and our squeegee for when we create the sign. And then I have some pretty red and almost a cream color fabric that we're going to use as part of our bow that we're going to make at the end. And then I have some burlap ribbon. We're going to use that. And then the other thing that we're going to use is this 12-inch wreath. I got this at a thrift store for $2. The first part of this project that we're going to do is use our chalkboard sign and our reusable stencil. The first thing I want to do, I'm going to leave for now this twine on the top to hang it with. I'm not sure if I'm going to cut that off or not, but what I do want to do is, because this top part is just a natural wood, I want to go ahead and stain that so it's a little bit darker in color and kind of adds to that cozy, primitive touch that I'm looking for in creating this project. Okay, this is a wax. It's a paste finishing wax, and the color for this one is called Special Dark. I only use this one on occasion. Sometimes I'll use just a wood stain, which works really nice, but I do that outside in my garage so my house doesn't smell like stain. It comes in different colors. This is a natural one, which is what I use typically when I'm putting a stencil down on a piece of wood. There's no color to it, but it gives it that nice soft sheen. Couple different brands you can use. This one is just that Minwax brand, and I like that one. Okay, and I'm going to use my very dirty towel, but this is my stain towel, so I use this one a lot, obviously. So I'm just going to kind of rub it in there, and all I'm going to do with this part is just rub it across the natural wood. Like I said, it's not going to hurt if it gets on the chalkboard, and it's not going to hurt it if I get it on the twine either, because that'll just kind of add to that rustic. And all I am going to do is just rub it on, and I do want to put it on the top little ledge right there. I want to make sure that's covered too, because that'll be part of what you see. Add a little to the sides. Okay, step one is done. So it's not real dark. You could put on a little bit more if you want it to get a little bit darker, or like I said, you can always stain it with a wood stain instead of the finishing paste. This just kind of finishes it up a little bit real nice. Close that up so it doesn't dry out. Put that aside. Rag away. Okay, so we got step one done. I got the top part stained. Putting the tools away as I go so I don't make a huge mess. And then the next step, I want to make this little sign that I'm going to hang with my wreath. And this one says homemade apple pie. So this is a new stencil from one of the companies that I use for my stencils. This is a new, where is the, I can't even see. Probably help if I put my glasses on so I can see where there it is. Okay, so this one's brand new. This is a 5x7 stencil. I like these smaller ones because you can use them for a variety of things. So, I'll hold this up so you can see it. Try our homemade apple pie, fresh and delicious. And what I like about when I discovered the sign at the Dollar Tree the other day is it fits on here almost perfect. Almost perfect. So that's what we're going to put on here. And I'm going to use the almond latte as the color. Now you could make this any color you want. You could put this on a towel, you could put this on a piece of wood. I'm using the chalkboard surface. So you can really use this on just about anything. And the nice thing about using a stencil is you can change whatever color you want. So we are going to, this will only take just a minute. I'll take that off the backing. Use my fuzzing cloth, put it down. That a couple times because this is a brand new one. It's never been used. Just got it a couple weeks ago. And actually, I got it a couple weeks ago and I had bought 2 of these chalkboard frames and I couldn't find where I put them. So I cleaned last weekend the craft rim. Let's fold it over on itself. I want to make sure I keep it good so I can reuse it. I cleaned the craft rim last weekend and lo and behold, I found these that I had shoved in the shelf. So I'm excited because I couldn't find any at the Dollar Tree when I was there the other day. Okay, going to set this on the surface. Kind of very lightly, just smooth it on there so there's no air bubbles underneath. And because it's adhesive, it's going to stick. Okay, I centered that up. I'm gonna get my almond latte. This is also brand new color. I just got this one in the mail yesterday. We had ordered it. Okay, and then I need to get the towels and get paint on my hand and then transfer it over. Okay, so we have our stencil. I'm gonna set this aside over here. Okay, the almond latte, it's kind of a creamy color. And then you can see here's my design. So I'm going to just dip my squeegee in on the side. Dip my squeegee in and I'm going to start at the top and I'm very carefully, because it's on here nice and smooth, I am just going to drag it down. So I'm covering up those words. The nice thing about these stencils is you can make a really cool project and it doesn't take a lot of time. If you're want to be a crafty person but you're really just not sure of what to make, these are great because you don't have to create a design. It doesn't, you can literally just buy the reusable stencil and put on a piece of wood and you've got a homemade sign. So it doesn't, if you're crafty but you're not creative, these are perfect. And if you're crafty and creative, also perfect, because then you could use these in a multitude of ways, of different surfaces that you could use, different colors in your projects. You can do all kinds of things. And I tend to go with the stencils, whether it's a reusable stencil, there's the silk screen, which is this, or if it's a reusable stencil that is made out of mylar plastic, those I like also, and I like them because you can reuse them over and over again. And I tend to always gravitate, personally, I tend to gravitate to designs that I can make into a cozy, primitive, rustic kind of feel to it, because that's kind of my style of crafting. But the nice thing is when you're using products that are simple and easy, you can create it in whatever your way is, which is nice. Okay, I think I got it all, so it's all covered. Put my squeegee in a little tub of water so that way it'll be easier to wash my squeegee off. Put the top on my chalk paste so that doesn't dry out. And then all I'm going to do is very carefully just pull this up and pull it down. And there I have the wooden design. Perfect. Now I am going to set this aside, and if you're watching this, I will be right back because I want to go wash this off in a little bit of cold water, so that way the paint, you can see in the back of the silk screen, you can still see the words. And in the front, I want to get that paint off before it dries, so that way my silk screen still has the holes in it for me to use again. So I will be right back. So step one of our project, our little handmade apple sign, is complete. Okay, the next step for the project is to dry the design with my heat gun, and that is just so I don't, when I'm putting it on my berry wreath, that I don't accidentally just touch this and it comes off. So I'm going to give it a quick little dry. Okay, our next part of the project is to make a little, I want to attach this to my berry wreath that I got. It's going to look something like that. Okay, so what I've decided to do in order to get this to hang on here is I want to attach them. So I took the twine off of the top, set that berry wreath aside, and I am going to, on the back of my design, I'm going to make a loop at the bottom, put those the ends together just to kind of loop it up. So it's just made a loop, and I'm going to take my staple gun, and I'm actually going to staple it on the back. So I'm going to staple it on there so it's a hanger, and I want it to hang a little lower so I can use a zip tie to attach those. So I'm going to hold it in place, use my staple gun, and I'm going to staple that on. And now it's just kind of hanging off the center. Side. Okay, now that we have our backer on there, I'm going to use a zip tie, push that through, so I want it to go through the loop twice. Okay, so if you can see that, I've got it through the front and it's hanging on the back. I used a black zip tie just so it blends in a little bit better with those. And I'm going to pull it. Actually, I'm going to pull some of those berries out before I pull it too tight. So that's what we've got so far. Because my zip tie was very long, I'm actually going to cut that with my scissors. I don't need that part. Okay, so now we have our frame to our sign and our wreath. Those on front. Okay, now what I want to do is put a little bow at the top, and I'm going to do a combination of my burlap ribbon and some of this homespun fabric. So set my wreath aside just a little bit. So I have my bow maker from Michael's, and I'm going to use a little piece of twine. I'm going to set that through the center so that I have something to tie my bow with when I get it done. Okay, and we're only going to want maybe 2 inches on either side. So I'm going to, if you've never used this, it's actually very easy. You stick it down in, I'm gonna make a 3-inch tail here. Kind of see it, it's just kind of setting in there. And I'm going to make a loop, also right about 3 inches. Push it down, make another one coming back, right about the 3-inch mark. Back, push it down. Oh, I'm almost out of ribbon, so we'll use it up. There's 3 inches. Actually, I think this one on this side is a little long. There we go, I like that better. 3 inches. And you could make it so it's a little bit smaller each time you pull it through. Press that down. So I have right now 3 loops on each side. As you can see, got my loops on each side. Set that aside for one moment. I'm going to open my fabric. I'm going to set this out, and I want to make some strips. Grab my fabric scissors, they work a little easier. I'm going to just cut a slit about 1 inch long, and I'm going to tear it on the length of the fabric, so it's giving me a fabric strip. And I'm going to use this, set that aside, in my bow maker. Okay, same kind of concept. I'm going to start at one end, overlap it, overlap. I think we'll just do 2 of these, so I may have a little extra to cut off at the end. Okay, now I'm going to pull it up with that twine that I put, oops, coming out, in there. I'm going to tie it. Super cute. We're going to, I got that twine on there. There's my other end. I'm going to tie it up one more time. Okay, and now what we're going to do is hot glue this. Actually, you could hot glue it, or you could use your staple gun. Let's hot glue it, it'll work. So if you don't have a staple gun, it's okay. Okay, I'm going to put a blob of glue right there in the center, the side, and I want to make sure I get the backs of my bow. I'm going to push it down, a couple of those loops that are touching the glue. I'm going to push those down without burning my fingers, which is why I have my trusty little pink glue finger on. I'm going to push it down in there so the glue can set. All right, take that off. Okay, our project is done. You can see it didn't take a really long time. It's a simple, easy craft. So you could make this super creative. You could wrap twine all around your wreath. You could do some bigger ribbons. You could do different colors. So here is our sign. I'll take some pictures when the video is done. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the DIY to your cozy life craft with our reusable stencil and our thrifted pitberry wreath. If you have any questions on how I did something, if you are interested in getting the reusable stencil, so you can also make something with the apple pie design, perfect for a kitchen towel, just let me know in the comments, and I will make sure to reach out and get you the link so that you can also order that stencil. So thank you for joining me today. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for coming to DIY your way to a cozy life.